Hello, this is Klaus Jensen. Welcome to a game analysis of an old game between Anand and Topalov. With only a few weeks to their World Championship match, I thought it would be nice to do a little warm-up by showing you a game between the two. And this one is all the way back from 1993, played in Las Palmas. And it's an interesting game since it's their first game against each other. At least I couldn't find an older one on chessgames.com. It's also interesting that it's a martial attack, because I'm currently doing an ebook on this opening, and the game itself also is having some nice ideas in it. So let's go. Anand is white, Topalov is black, and it's of course Ruy Lopez. E4, E5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, a6, bishop a4, knight f6, castles, bishop e7, closed Ruy Lopez, rook e1, b5, bishop b3, castles, c3, and d5. And this is the martial attack. And the idea behind the martial attack is that black sacks a pawn for a long-lasting initiative on the king side. Basically, what black claims is that this c3 move from white was a mistake, because it blocks the white pieces on the queen side. We can see that this knight cannot develop, and this bishop is blocked by the d pawn at this point. And this is what black claims. It's very interesting opening, and is still today is played very often at the highest levels, Aronian being one of the experts with the black pieces. The problem with the opening being played at the highest levels is that it has been analyzed very thoroughly, and if white knows what he's doing, black could not hope for more than a draw. In fact, I believe some GMs today use the marshal as a drawing weapon. But back to the game, the normal reaction from white is to take the pawn, and this is what happens here. E takes d5, knight takes d5, knight takes e5, knight takes e5, rook takes e5, and then Marshall's original idea when he invented this opening in the beginning of the 20th century was to play knight f6 here. But c6, which is the modern line, is much stronger. d4, bishop d6, rook e1, queen h4, g3, queen h3, bishop e3. This is called the modern main line. And here follow bishop g4, queen d3, rook a to e8. And now the idea behind the marshal is very clear to see. All black pieces are very actively placed and ready to participate in the attack on the white king, while white is still struggling getting his last pieces into play. But of course he has a pawn as a compensation for this lack of development. Anand played the mainline move here, knight d2, f5 from Topalov, queen f1, queen h5. Black never accepts the exchange of queens in this opening. And one of the main attacking ideas for black is to try to crack open the kingside position with his own kingside pawns. So the f4 break, and in some cases also the h4 break, is a way to open up the white king position. And Anand decides in this game to stop this f4 break by playing f4 himself here, blocking the f4 break for Topalov. King h8 is liberating this this knight which was pinned, and of course Anand cannot allow this knight to go back into the game, so he takes it. Bishop takes d5, c takes, and queen g2. And Anand now eyes the d5 pawn here, and it's actually not so easy for Topalov to protect it, at least not without losing initiative. And that's why Topalov surely didn't like moves like queen f7 or rook d8, because this would lose him some initiative. So instead, Topalov comes up with a much more original idea. He plays in this position rook e4. So Topalov sacks the exchange because, of course, it can be taken by the knight. But this rook move covers the d5 pawn, and when Anand takes the rook with his knight, he has no light pieces left defending the light squares, and Topalov hopes this is sufficient compensation. For example, when the rook is taken, then there's a f3 square that could prove to be very important for Topalov, and this is what he hoped for when he played rook e4. Anand here played h4. He didn't take the exchange right away. Anand decided that he wanted to play rook f1 at some point, and if he had taken the exchange right away and then played rook f1, this would fail to bishop h3. So he'll have to play h4 first to block the communication between the queen and the bishop, the black queen and the black bishop. So this is one of the reasons for h4, and another reason is that that it shuts down any possibility of a g5 break. So h4 is a very nice move. And Topalov plays h6 anyway, and now Anand takes the exchange and then plays his rook f1. And I think Anand has defended well, and it's not easy to find a way to continue attack for Topalov at this point. And from Anand's point of view, his remaining problems are the activation of the rook on a1. Where should it be put, ideally, and also this bishop on e3, which is at this point acting as no more than a pawn. From Topalov's point of view, he has to find a way to break through the king side, and this is of course not easy. And I bet Topalov considered g5. This was probably his best chance of getting anything from this game, because there are some nice lines here. If h takes g5, then bishop h3, queen h2, queen g4, g takes, rook g8, applying some pressure on the white position, especially in the g file. So this would be an option. And if Anand had taken with the f pawn instead, then this bishop f3, queen h3, rook g8 is looking very dangerous for white, and practically forcing him to take on f3, and queen takes, bishop f2, e3, bishop e1, giving black some great counterplay, I think. So I think g5 would have been an option for Topalov. And this is the end of part 1 of this game analysis. I will return with part 2 to see the rest of this very interesting game.